Oh, we are going to be coming in hot on this episode here. Hey everyone, Gary with Rock Solid Productions, and we have a hot take because one of the foundations behind this channel and kind of the way that I've wanted to communicate with you is looking at something from the standpoint of, should you spend the money on it? Is it worth whoever is charging for something? Does it have the value for what you're being charged? One of the analogies that I've always given is the fact that if you have someone who has a compact car budget and goes out and buys a compact car, they want to get the best compact car for their money, right? Well, if you have someone who has Corvette money and goes and buys a compact car, they're going to rate those two very differently performance-wise because what they are looking for, the type of customer and consumer that they are, completely different. What I wanted to talk to you today about, and I promise you this is not coming from a hater standpoint, I can already hear the comments. The Xbox Series X and Series S you don't need right now. At least a majority of you, I will say, do not need right now. If this is your first time to the channel, before we even get started on this, I want to thank you for coming by and checking this out. You see the Super Nintendo on my shirt here. I have a Wii U, a Switch OLED, a Switch, Sega system. I'm invested in ecosystems outside of the Xbox. I am coming at this from the outside looking in. Looking at, yes, I do have two Xboxes here and a third here playing. I'll explain these in a little bit here. Where I'm coming at this from is right now Xbox and Microsoft's greatest strength in gaming is also what makes new hardware really unnecessary right now. In the future, this may change, and I'll address Sony a little bit in this as well. So here's where I'm coming at it from. As you can see, I have an original Xbox, and this is the Call of Duty one. This is actually something that my father-in-law bought for the grandkids, and when we started having the holiday get-togethers here at our house, we brought this over here for the kids to play over the holidays. The Xbox that's playing behind me, this is the one that I actually bought off of our Facebook Marketplace for 50 bucks, and it was covered in roaches. Check out the video that we have on screen now on how I went ahead and cleaned this up. And this is actually a loaner from Adrian at Live Action Games of an Xbox One S for the purpose of this video. So the thing that all of these systems, the original Xbox, the One S, I don't have a One X, the Scorpio, the Series X, what they all have in common is they will all play the exact same games, the exact same discs. Now, many people, when the Xbox One S all digital, or many people jokingly called it the Xbox One SAD, they criticized it for being all digital. Nobody wants this garbage. We want a system that plays physical discs. Now look at the Series S. It has been a commercial success. And I'm happy for people if they did not have anything before and they dove in with the Series S and Xbox Game Pass, they're getting a great value for what they paid. And that's everything I want to talk to you today about, is the value and how you don't need a $500 Xbox Series X if you want to play physical games. So stick with me here, and I know I'm rambling a little bit, but here's my own personal journey. So I have these systems here. I have this system and that system. This will go back to Adrian at Live Action Games. I've been going back and forth on whether or not I want a Series X. Part of it for me, if I do go to the next generation of Xbox, I want physical discs because of the backwards compatibility. That's something that I have to commend Microsoft for. They have done wonderfully when it comes to backwards compatibility. Now, it's not 100%, but stuff that I would want to play on an Xbox, most of it's covered. That's a good thing. The same is true from the Series X to the One Series, where you can pretty much do the same thing. So I can play the same physical games across all of those systems. The other thing, too, as well, is the fact that I still have the exact same access to Game Pass, whether or not I have a One S, an original Xbox, a One X, again, the Series S, the Series X. What am I gaining if I upgrade from these to a Series S or a Series X? Well, first and foremost, I lose something if I go to a Series S, and that is that physical disc compatibility. See, I am not invested in the Microsoft ecosystem as far as having purchased games from the Windows storefront. I just haven't done it. I haven't done it a whole lot on the PlayStation either. I've got very few games. The only system I've really, or the only ecosystem I've really invested in digitally has been the Switch, and before that a little bit on the Wii U and a little bit on the Wii before that. I didn't get involved in all digital like the 3DS or anything along those lines. So if I go with the Series S, I lose the compatibility to play any games that I have for these. I am permanently tied into either Game Pass, which is $45 a month. Hang on, I think I have a card on me. I do. Game Pass 3 months, $44.99. So multiply that by 2, I'm looking at $90. $180 a year. Now, I bought several of these cards over Black Friday for $25, so I got a significant savings here. But I'll tell you, to this point, I've still yet to activate a single one of these because I haven't had the desire really to play these. And that's where, for me, having the physical discs kind of eliminates the Series S for me. Now, you might be saying, though, that the Series S, it does 4K, which it absolutely does. The original Xbox did not. The One S does not. I will grant you that. How many people are gaming on a 4K versus just a 1080p television? If you only have a 1080p TV, there is no reason whatsoever for you to have to upgrade or to feel the need to upgrade to the higher visuals on either the Series S or the Series X. You're going to get 1080p capped, which these systems both do wonderfully. And you can get these not really new anymore because Microsoft has stopped production. On Facebook Marketplace, you can get Xbox Ones, Xbox One S's, even X's for $125, $150, $200, and you can take that savings and invest in your games library or invest in Game Pass. Again, it's one of those things that you have other options that you can be able to play more games. One of the things that, with the recent G4 controversy, I'm not going to get into it, but the individual who kind of stirred up the storm that happened mentioned is that they don't own an Xbox themselves. They play on their PC.
The fact that I will never own an Xbox, but I can have Game Pass and Xbox on my PC is life-changing. It is amazing to me. Because now I have my souped-up PC, I have my PS5, it is Game Pass for me all the way.
That's another reason why the Series S and the Series X, it's not a must-have sort of gaming option. A lot of times you can get the same or better gaming performance playing on your PC, and it's the same cost. And there's cross-platform online multiplayer. It's one of the great things that, again, Microsoft has done is essentially you can play on this, on your laptop, on your desktop, or on the new One S and One X. So why would you buy, I'm sorry, not a One S, One X, and it's the other thing, I hate the naming structure. They should not have named it Series S and X. It's just too confusing. But with the Series S and Series X, one place where they are a huge step above what these systems here are, what the One X is, even what your PCs are, is going to be load time. The amount of time it takes not only to install onto the systems themselves, but to load from this part of the game to that part of the game to that part of the game, significantly faster on the Series S and Series X. No complaints there whatsoever. That is a bona fide point of improvement on those newer systems. I will also say one of the reasons why I have not been a huge fan of the Xbox to date has been the controller. I have not been an Xbox controller fan. But this is actually the Blue Shock controller designed for the Series S and Series X. This is Microsoft's best controller to date as far as I am concerned. What I have always been, not a fan of, first of all, I hated the 360 controller. I thought the Duke controller was way too big. The S controller is still pretty big. I never felt confident that I could play without having to occasionally look down at the controller to see what button I was pressing and what I was doing. On the original Xbox, you also had the two buttons down below. those confuse the hell out of me. I'm okay, Boomer, I can hear it in the comments right now, but for me, I just never felt as confident playing with an Xbox controller as a PlayStation controller. And a lot of that, I've just played a whole lot more with PlayStation controllers. I have also not been a fan of the D-pad on the Xbox controllers. I will tell you, the Xbox Series S and X controller D-pad, it's very good. I do like this quite a bit. Now, with all of this said, why should you buy a Series S or a Series X? Well, for a lot of people, right now at least, it still does not make sense for you to do that. Don't get caught up in the FOMO, the fear of missing out. And that's what I keep kind of like, if I'm gonna buy one, I'm gonna buy a Series X because I wanna be able to play my discs. Just getting that out of the way. But I don't need it. Granted, I don't need any of this crap. I will openly admit that. I don't need any of these game systems behind me. But I don't have a need as far as I feel like I'm missing out on a gameplay experience. I can get all the same games on Game Pass as I can, on a 1S, as an original Xbox One, or a Series S or X. And that's actually pretty damn cool if you look at the way that the gaming industry has gone to this point. So, like, I have, again, my Nintendo Switch here. I had my Wii U. I can't play Switch games on the Wii U. I have to have a Switch to play Switch games. It's just the way that it works. Even the PlayStation. If you look at the PlayStation 5 versus the PlayStation 5 all digital, it's the exact same system, the exact same hardware, minus a hard drive. With the Series S and Series X, the Series S definitely a weaker system with very similar specs, just bumped up slightly from the One X. And you're losing the disk drive. That's where I keep looking at those two, is the fact that yes, it is going to be faster a little bit. It's going to have an overall better responsiveness. I believe it outputs at 1440p, so a little bit higher resolution. There is an actual difference in the hardware on the Xbox side of things, which makes the buying decision between the Series S and the Series X a bigger choice. And also justifies that $200 price difference too. And that's the other thing as well. $500 for an Xbox Series X, if you can even buy just the system. If you look at about the only place that's really had them on a regular clip has been GameStop. And they won't just sell you the system. I've gone into our local store multiple times. I can buy one if I buy a bundle with Far Cry 6. I've never played a single Far Cry game. Don't care about it. If I buy NBA 2K22, I don't care about those games. If I bought their warranty, I'm going to probably open the thing up, which means I'm going to void the warranty. There's additional add-ons for $650, $700, $750 to make that investment to get the latest generation of hardware. That's huge. The Xbox One S is actually a very, it's not a tiny piece of hardware, but I can fit this in more places than what the Xbox Series X would be that I would want to go with. And again, I don't get any, it's not that the games play better or worse as far as the gameplay. The stories aren't any better or worse from one system or one generation to the next. You can have the exact same gaming experience. It might take you a little bit longer with load times. Give you that. But let's say that you go ahead and can find yourself an Xbox One X. Just the top of the line Xbox One used on Facebook Marketplace. $250. You're at half the price that it would cost you to dive into a Series X. And you can have, again, pretty much the same gaming experience. And take that $250 that you've saved, get yourself a year Game Pass. You have all access to the same library then, plus you can play physical discs. So at $50 less than what it would cost you to get a Series S, you get a One X, you get a physical disc reading disc drive in the system, and you still have all the same Game Pass advantages. Don't spend more money to play games than what you need to. And that's one of the great things about Game Pass for so many people, is that you can play so many games for such a low price. Now for me, I haven't found a whole lot that I've liked to play on Game Pass. There's a handful here and there, but it's one of the reasons that in September of 2021, my Game Pass expired and I've still yet to renew. It's all about personal preference. Now, I do hope that they do make the jump from the Xbox One line to the Xbox series of consoles make more sense and make it something that it really is a different gaming experience by starting to produce games that you can only play, to steal a line from PlayStation, it's only available on the Xbox Series X and Series S. I don't know how likely that is going to be able to happen simply because of the fact that you have the Series S, which is not a whole lot more powerful than an Xbox One X. But these are just my opinions. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Have you made the upgrade to a Series S or a Series X? What do you think? What is your favorite way to gameplay? Now, I will completely grant you too, if you have a 4K TV that can handle UHD, that can handle 120 frames per second, everything, the Xbox One X, Series X, again, I hate that naming structure, but the Xbox Series X is going to be the best looking way to play the Xbox. But your gameplay experience, I don't feel, is going to be any different. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Kind of a different sort of video for me. If you do have any other comments or questions as well, we'll have all of our socials for you at the end of this video too. Now, if you are also looking to pick up some games for your Xbox One S, One X, or Series X, do me a favor, head on over to castlemaniagames.com. Ryan does carry physical media over there, which is really cool. He also has accessories like other controllers, HDMI cables, some really cool stuff over there. Use promo code ROCKSOLID10 to save 10% off of most items on the website. Should I get an Xbox Series X? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see any other videos that we've done, such as reviews of some really cool accessories for the Xbox One S and One X, like these great battery packs from Nyko, those videos are coming up for you right now. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support the future of Rock Solid Productions, you can do so by visiting our Patreon page at patreon.com/rocksolid. For as little as $1 a month, $12 a year, you'll get early access to all of our video content, exclusive content, and a whole lot more. You can also become a channel member here on YouTube for as little as $1.99 a month, and with that, you get a badge next to your name when you comment or post on the channel, and you are acknowledged whether you are a channel member or a Patreon supporter at the end of each and every one of our videos. You can also support the channel by visiting our Teespring store on screen now, where we have t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, masks, cell phone cases, and much more. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.